family, and welcome back live from St. Peter's Square, bringing you the context, the vision, all of the writings, and all of the different audiences that the Holy Father, Pope Leo XIV, has held and will have. This is your place for all of the information about this new pontificate, and I'm here with our fabulous co-host, Monsignor Landry. I don't know that calling you fabulous is the best way to introduce you, but I'll take it for now.
I don't tell fables. I try to tell the truth.
Monsignor Landry, the National Director of the Pontifical Mission Societies USA, and Dr. Matthew Bunson, Vice President and Editorial Director of EWTN News. And of course, I'm Montse Alvarado, your President of EWTN News. And the Square is getting ready for Sunday. What can you tell us about what these preparations look like, Matthew?
Well, everything's moving toward the Mass for the beginning of the pontificate as a clear...
Getting ready.
A different tone. There will be a celebration Mass, a Eucharistic celebration, where he will, I think one of the big moments there is his receiving of the pallium, that symbol of office as a metropolitan, but also a symbol of his office for the whole of the church. We always have to be clear that it is not like he is getting inaugurated. So this is not like some celebration where now he assumes the office. When he was elected, when he accepted the office and took his name, he had full authority over the whole church.
And we'll get into what he's been doing with that full authority in a second. Monsignor Landry, we are still in this wonderful Easter season, celebrating all of the richness that comes with that. And today's readings, today's feast day in particular, speak into what we're living at this moment. Tell us about that.
May 14th is the feast of St. Matthias, who is the one who took the place of Judas after Judas's betrayal. So they wanted to turn to God and see whom he would choose to take the place as one of the apostles. And so, from human beings, it comes from God. There's holy orders there. And we have just celebrated, beginning on May 8th, the great mystery of apostolic succession, that from Peter as well as for the papacy.
Now, we know that part of the business that was conducted by the Holy Father today included a visit from an avid sports fan and sportsman, I would say, with a particular last name. Can you tell us about that gathering?
So today he met Sin. So Jacob Sinner has been tortured his entire life as a big sinner. A couple days later, Pope Francis is meeting with Jacob Sinner.
Pope Leo.
There I go.
That's okay. We've been doing it all day.
Pope Leo is meeting with Jacob Sinner, and Jacob Sinner was incredibly reverent. They brought the Coppa Italia here, so the award, whoever's going to win the male championship, was brought on over in a sense to get it blessed. Brought some rackets. They were trying some things out. Jacob Sinner wanted to play Pope Leo in the little sala at the back of the Paul VI. The Holy Father wisely said, we'll wait for another time. He took a rain check.
Well, hopefully that'll be the time that Inez gets her wish, which is to have him play for charity, which would be a beautiful thing for the church and obviously something much needed with the number of wars around the world.
I'm picturing some of these old editors in newsrooms. Pope meets sinner. That's not news.
That's true. Oh, well, that's fantastic. There's more work that he started doing, Pope Leo, since the beginning. He started communicating important messages to us, and one of those messages was part of his message after the Regina Coeli on the Eastern churches, which we know we're in the middle of that Jubilee right now. Let's listen to what he had to say.
I carry in my heart the sufferings of the beloved Ukrainian people. May everything possible be done to reach an authentic, just and lasting peace, as soon as possible. Let all the prisoners be freed and the children return to their own families.
Now, I know we've talked about this just and lasting peace, the characteristics of the type of peace that the Holy Father wants us to bring, that he wants to teach us about, so that we can internalize that. And part of the encounter with the Eastern churches this morning was obviously the encounter with the leaders of the Eastern churches. Matthew, what can you tell us about that?
Well, that's right. So as part of the Jubilee, the Holy Father had an encounter similar to what he had of statements, I think, has already gone a long way with the Eastern Catholics across the world, all 23 of those churches who come to appreciate more.
To a path where they're just not adequately appreciated for who they are and their incredible gifts. That was a home run that he hit on his first swing.
Seeing those liturgies in a really big way. What can you tell us about that one visit?
Used all their skills. the love.
Our ancestry, where we come from, wanting to be deeply rooted in the traditions and history of the church. Monsignor Landry, part of this Jubilee involves going to different places, experiencing those liturgies in a really big way. What can you tell us about that one visit to St. Mary Major, what that looked like, why they had that specific icon?
So they were going over to St. Mary Major in order to give proper homage to Our Lady. The love for Our Lady, the Theotokos, the God-bearer in Eastern churches is a challenge to us in the Latin West. We have a great devotion to Our Lady, but theirs is so incredibly profound. They've used all their skills to be able to put the most beautiful hymns together, and they sang one to Our Lady. They call it the Akathist hymn, which literally means they stand. They only stand for two things. They stand for Jesus when he's present, and then they stand for Our Lady out of incredible love, and they sing these long, intricate, beautiful hymns to Our Lady, which for me, listening to them when I've got the CDs or now the MP3s from the Russians, from the Ukrainians, from the Byzantines in general, it's a little bit of an experience of heaven where you're participating in what the choirs of angels, I hope, are likewise doing before the Mother, God the Father, chose for his Son.
That's exactly right. Well, Matthew, we had Archbishop, His Grace, Gudziak here with us this morning, and he was responding to what he felt in meeting the Holy Father and what the significance that visit really had for him. Let's listen to what he had to say.
Today we were listeners. All of us met him for the first time. I think we were all touched from the very moment he appeared on the balcony. He's a very kind man, a sensitive man, very sensible and careful with words. He's somebody that has touched Ukrainians from day one. On Sunday, when he spoke to the city and the world, would be at Orbi, he told the Ukrainians that you are close, you are in my heart. I hold you in my heart, you suffering people. I will work and pray for a just peace, a peace that is lasting. And I will work that has touched Ukrainians from day one. On Sunday, when he spoke to the city and the world, would be at Orbi, he told the Ukrainians that you are close, you are in my heart. I hold you in my heart, you suffering people.
And aims that he has
That's
for the people in Ukraine.
Absolutely right. He wasted no time after his election in reaching out and actually having it can't come necessarily from treaties.
Vatican Secretary for what hasn't said those words.
For those of
We all breathe the same air, injustice, some kind of violence. Make Eastern Christians, bring them into the Latin Church because of
involved. At the beginning, there were just the original churches that were there. And so what he was saying, he's not forgetting them, and he's trying to wake up all
Eastern Catholics who arrived on the shores of the United States simply.
it is
today and had this wonderful message of love and prayer for all of us and for
I just wanted to pray and to thank God for those you viewers who make our work possible. If it wasn't for you, the work and mission of EWTN would not go through. So thank you so much. I'm lighting these candles in Lord's for you. Look at these candles. God bless you.
big candles for big prayers. It's so important. I think one of the things that we know in this network sets us apart.
Well, certainly there is a desire for evangelization. They are, many of them are here sent by their own bishops, by the superiors of the religious congregations, or lay people who really wants to serve the church in this capacity, as communicators. So there is this desire, and at the same time, they realize of the need of professionalization. So formation or training, really to do the job well, because evangelizing in today's world is not from the, if you allow me, of the way that Pope Francis had as a Latin American. So in that sense, he has elements from all of them, but with the depth, also the theological depth that in somehow of Benedict XVI.
That's
so
right.
Even in the words, in the way that he dresses, etc. So in this sense, he's its own style, keeping the essential aspects from the previous ones.
What role do you think that the church communicators, so those who are Catholic,
has many dimensions, no? The theological, the spiritual dimension, the apostolic of the theology.
Works about what their blind spots are and how they need to hear from full reasons why Pope Leo, when he met with journalists, was able to give a sincere thanks.
English, but he's a very universal, and he showed that speaking also in Italian.
Is the English language going to play a different role here? Will we be able to share something first?
I'm sure that in some occasions that will be an advantage. I cannot deny that. But it's also true that the Vatican is in Rome. The culture is Rome. Is it?
Of the Bishop of Rome too then plays a certain role. Matthew, how would you say that his Italianness and facility in the Italian language will also allow for a closeness with the Roman people?
Well, consider that when we were assessing the papabili, possible candidates, what was one of the things that we understands the culture here, his calmness, makes him
Deepen into the English speaker. He's
Members of the EWTN family, I'm going to read this out so that I get it out. I want to say a special hello to Elke, Father Warren, and the whole Huon Valley Parish of Tasmania in Australia. Lots of love and prayers to you all here live from St. Peter's Square. We're so grateful to have you as viewers and listeners. And of course, to our friends on radio, we're grateful that you're with us. We want to make sure that you know that we will continue to describe all of the sounds and smells of the Vatican for you. So please stay tuned. And we will, of course, have a special before the Mass on Sunday to explain all of the different symbols that you will see. So come back and join us live from St. Peter's Square. Have a wonderful evening and God bless you.
EWTN welcomes our new Holy Father, Pope Leo XIV. Habemus Papam.